Good afternoon. It's a Vlogmas miracle. I'm back. I'm actually taking a late lunch. I had to get up and move around. I had to come to the post office, and now I have to go drop some stuff off at Goodwill. I keep this blue plastic tote on the shelf above my dryer, and that's my Goodwill bin, and that's where I put all my stuff that is going to Goodwill or whatever charity shop I happen to be near. And when it gets full, I go donate it and bring my tote home. And I just filled it up, shoot, not 3 days ago. It's full again. I gotta go take it off. I was up in the attic getting some stuff down and organizing, and I found some stuff that I figured I could probably get rid of without any problem. I'm constantly getting rid of stuff because I'm like the anti-pack rat. I know I've talked about it before, but I grew up in a little tiny single wide trailer. It was an old Kynard single wide mobile home from the early 70s, I believe. Little bitty tin box, you know, little sardine can I grew up in. It was a tiny house, and I lived there with my mom and my dad and my brother, and they're all three big time pack rats. Like, they don't want to get rid of anything. And the house was never dirty, but it was always really cluttered. And I to this day, I hate clutter. I cannot stand it. So I am constantly getting rid of stuff. And so, yeah, that Goodwill bin fills up pretty quickly sometimes. And I was up in the attic, and I just found some stuff and said, yeah, I don't need this, I don't need that, that can go, and I just took it all down, and it's all in my trunk now, and we'll go take it off. And so I picked up 3 packages today. Y'all are awesome. I got from subscribers 3 packages. I have not looked at them yet. It's a noisy thing back there. I haven't looked at them. I just picked them up. We'll be doing a video with them, at least one, maybe 2. One box is really big. Well, not super big, but it's pretty good size. The other one's kind of a medium size. I love your lack of a turn signal. That's beautiful. One of them is medium size and one is kind of small. It's like a little bubble envelope. So I'm looking forward to opening those. We are definitely going to get to that. Nobody here uses turn signals. Nobody. You just have to know what they're going to do. You should just know that. I had to take my coat off. It's warmed up significantly. It's almost 60 degrees now. That's North Carolina, though. You can have all 4 seasons in one day. I mean, it's just insane. It can be snowing first thing in the morning, and then by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's 60 outside. I mean, it didn't snow today, but I have literally experienced days like that. Snowing in the morning, all gone, and 60 by 2 p.m. because our weather is ridiculous here. But you definitely get all 4 seasons. I mean, some people don't really experience the 4 seasons, but we do here. Hell, like I said, you can experience all of them in a day sometimes. And you really have to plan ahead when it comes to what you wear, because, you know, I like to dress in layers. So if it's cold in the morning, I can, you know, I'll be warm, or I might take the sweater off later because I have on a long sleeve shirt under it. Just whatever works. I had to tell you this story, and I know I've told you this before, but I thought about it. I was on the way to the post office, and it just popped into my head, and I wanted to tell you because it was, maybe you had to be there, but it was quite charming. And it was around this time of year. I believe it was around Christmas time, and this was back when I worked in an office. We used to work for a very large firm, like we had, just in Greensboro, we had maybe 90 attorneys in that firm, just in the Greensboro office, and they have offices elsewhere as well. Big old firm, and they have very nice offices and boardrooms and conference rooms, and, you know, it's very nice. This is, you know, it's not Saul Goodman's establishment. It's like a really fancy place, you know, like you get in, you know, you want to hire an attorney there, you got to have like a $15,000 retainer just to have them work for you. Anyway, okay, so this was back when my kids were, I don't even know that my younger son was born yet. My older son was maybe about four-ish. He was around 4. And there was a mishap with the daycare center. I mean, that irritated me right there. He used to go to this daycare, and I won't say where. It actually wasn't here in Greensboro. It was in Ashboro. Shit, I just said Ash. It's in Ashboro, and it was shit. But it was convenient for me, and they were supposed to be great. I heard they were great. Well, their policies were kind of messed up. They would send your kid home for any reason at all. If they were running, if their temperature was over 99, if it was 99 or higher, they would send them home, and you couldn't bring them back for 48 hours. Well, shoot. You know what? Okay, so if the kid is outside running around, got their coat on, running around outside playing on the playground, when they come back in, if you take their temperature right then, it may measure it as 99 or higher. Or, if they're doing any kind of physical activity, it can register higher than 98.6. And there were multiple occasions that my son got sent home just for that. Like, they were out playing on the playground, they came in, and he's very fair-skinned like me. So when he gets hot, he flushes, he gets red in the face. And they would, oh no, and they would check his temperature. His temperature is 99. And I get there and he's fine, he's cooled off or whatever. Well, this one time, now mind you, this was back when I was commuting 60 miles a day one way just to get to work. 120 miles round trip, 5 days a week. And I had just gotten to work. I had been there maybe a half hour, and my phone rings, and it's the daycare. And they said, this was the day before the thing I wanted to tell you about. They said, yes, ma'am, your son has just told his teacher that his tummy hurts. I said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yes. And then there was this pause, and I'm like, thank you for telling me. I don't, what do you want me to do with this information? And she goes, well, we're going to need you to come pick him up. I said, is he running a fever? No. Has he thrown up? No. Has he, so you're telling me he just said one time, my tummy hurts. Yes, ma'am. So for that, you want me to take the day off work, come pick him up and take him home? Yes, ma'am. If you could get here as soon as possible, that'd be great. I said, I couldn't process it. I'm sitting here going, what? I'm confused. He just said my tummy hurts. It could have been a little bit of gas or something. I don't know. He has no fever. He has no other symptoms of malaise of any type. He just stated my tummy hurts. Well, shoot, sometimes he would say that if you were making something for dinner he didn't want. All right, tummy hurts. But they made me come pick him up and take him home. So I had to take the rest of the day off because I had no one. I had no backup plan. Like, if I got to drive all the way back down there and pick him up, I'm going to just have to take the rest of the day off because I have nowhere else to take him right now. What am I supposed to do? So I had to take that day off work. Well, the next day I had to be at work because, okay, now I told you I work with this company in Germany and I handle their patent work. Well, I was working with them at this time, and some of the employees, the inventors employees of this company were in Greensboro. They were visiting this area. And so they were at our firm, and they were going to be at the firm the next day for this big meeting where they were going to go over a lot of the stuff they wanted to do in the coming year. It was like a big deal, and they had been planning it for months. Well, the secretary that was going to handle, taking up the stuff for their breakfast, bringing them coffee, blah, 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 she was handling that, but the person who was going to help her was not going to be there. So I was going to have to help her, take up breakfast stuff, print stuff off for them, bring it up, whatever they needed. If she needed help, I was going to help her. So I had to be there. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I thought, well, no problem. I'm going to be there. No problem. I'll drop my son off at daycare. I'll be there. No problem, because I took my son home that day before with the tummy ache. He was fine. He was running around playing the rest of the day. He was totally fine. No fever, he never ran a fever, nothing. He was fine. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's going to be fine. I'll be there. I can help out tomorrow. So I get to the daycare to drop him off the morning of the big meeting at work. And they go, "Oh, ma'am, you can't leave him here." I said, "Why not?" "Well, our policy is when a child goes home sick, they have to be gone for a minimum of 48 hours, regardless of the circumstances." I said, "He wasn't sick. All he did was say to somebody his tummy hurt." "Well, I understand that, but we have him marked down as sick and leaving early for sickness, so you can't leave him here today." I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You want me to take another day off work? I can't take today off work. I have to go to work." "Well, we're sorry, but he can't be here today. Sorry." It wasn't long after this I pulled him out of there and found another daycare. And the funny thing was, he went there for like a year. He got sick more in that year than he ever got in any other daycare he ever went to. He was sick every other week at that daycare. That might have just been a coincidence. I'm gonna park. I'm gonna drop some stuff off. But I gotta tell you this story before I drop my stuff off. I'm at Goodwill. I gotta tell you the story. So anyway, so here I am, and I'm like, well, crap. I'm on my way to work. I gotta go to work. So I look at my son. I said, "Well, reckon you going to work with me today?" And he was like, "Yay!" He thought it was awesome. And I'm sitting there like, it's a lot of things. Awesome is not one of them. Can you tell I just don't care today? God almighty, I've got like Gary Busey hair today. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. He's just going to have to go to work with me. And I talked to the secretary as soon as I got there. I said, "Look, I got my son here." She's like, "Yay!" No, he was younger than 4. I was not able to get him into pre-K, but he might have been 3 at this point. Yeah, he might have been 3. He might not have even been 4. Anyway, so the secretary goes, "Oh, that's great," because everybody at work loves him, because he was such a ham when he was a kid. He was such a ham. He really knew how to make people laugh. He was a really funny kid. He still is, but he's matured a lot, and he hates it when I tell this story. He's like, "Mom, stop." He would die if he knew I was telling you this. So all of the German inventors and the people in this company, I'd never seen these people. I'd never met these people. I'd seen their names on a lot of stuff, and I'd done, work for them, but I'd never met them. It was crazy to get to see these people. So they're all in this big fancy conference room. There were maybe 10 of them in there. And so the secretary and I were carrying up trays with breakfast and coffee and everything, and we're getting everything set up. And it was up on a different floor from where I normally worked. And I didn't want to leave my son at my cubicle. I was working in a cubicle at that time. I didn't have an office yet. And I didn't want to leave him at my cubicle, because I just imagined he would get into some kind of shenanigans or go in somebody's office and do something crazy. I said, "You're going to have to come with me upstairs." And there was a kitchen up there. I said, I'm gonna go up there. We'll get you something to drink. You just, hang out in the kitchen. I have to go do something. So we go upstairs, and I had him in the kitchen in there. I got him something to drink, like a little cup of something, a cup of Sprite or something. And I said, "Now just stay in here, okay? I'll be right back. I need to go do something. I'll be gone for a few minutes, but just stay in the kitchen in here, and I'll be back." Okay. So he's in there drinking his drink. And I figured it was all good. So I grabbed a tray, and I'm following the secretary, into the conference room with the stuff. And they're all sitting at the table, just talking amongst themselves. And there were these big double doors leading into this conference room, and the doors were open. And so we're getting set up, and they're talking amongst themselves. I don't know what they were saying, because they were speaking German. I don't know what they were saying, but I'm hoping it was good. And then I hear them start to chuckle a little bit. And I thought, what's up with that? And I had my back turned to them, like I couldn't see what was going on. And I kind of turned around, and they're chuckling. And I look at them, and they're all looking out into the hallway. They're all looking into the out into the hallway, and they're all just kind of chuckling. And I thought, oh God, what is he doing? I told him to stay in the kitchen. I knew it was my son. I thought, what is he doing out there? Please at least let him not be naked, because when he was little, he'd really die if he knew, I was telling you this. When he was little, if we had company over, he thought it was funny to take his clothes off and then come running into the living room like, ta-da! I was going, please God, say he's got his clothes on. I mean, he kind of outgrown that at this point, but you don't ever know with him. And I thought, it's him. He's out there doing something. What is he doing in the hall? And they're just looking out there, and they're just chuckling and doing like this. I'm going, oh God, what is he doing? So I come around and I look out, and he's out there doing the wackiest little dance you ever saw. It was like a mix of Pee Wee Herman and Elaine Bennis. And I'm going, son. And he's just waving at him. He's got this big smile on his face. Oh my God. They got a real kick out of him. They thought that was hilarious. Oh my God. I was embarrassed. I shooed him back into the kitchen, like, go back in there. He was just giggling. But later that day, one of the inventors, and he was one that had done a lot of really amazing work with this company. And I just always imagined he would be older, because he had, he's just done so much. He was young. He looked like he might have been 30, if that. And it was like this weird crossover episode in my life where he had come downstairs to where I work, and he was walking with one of the attorneys, and he saw my son sitting there. He was sitting there coloring or something, and I was working, and he said, oh, it's the little performer or something like that. And my son had this little toy turtle. It's like a little plastic turtle, and it was the weirdest, it was the sweetest thing, but it was kind of weird, where he comes over and he just kind of crouches down, and he's talking to my son like, on eye level, and he's like, oh, I like your turtle, and he said, do you know the German word for turtle? And my son's like, no, and I don't remember it now, but yeah. And he said, I have a little boy not much younger than you, and he loves animals. He loves horses and birds, and it's really nice to see that you love animals too, or something. It was so sweet, but it was so weird at the same time. It was like this weird crossover episode. You ever have this thing where, like, you have people from this part of your life and people from this part of your life, and they don't really interact, but there's a situation where they do somehow, and it's just really bizarre. It's like when two TV shows had a crossover. It was just really weird to see them together. It was so weird to see, like, work stuff and my kid interacting, but it was super cool. He was so nice. He didn't have to stop and talk to my son, but he did. He was a super nice guy. Really, really cool guy. And it was very nice to meet him and all the other inventors too. That was really cool. I think that guy eventually went on to work with another company. I don't think he's with them anymore, but really, really nice dude. I was impressed. And I tell you something, you Germans, y'all don't play. Yeah, y'all get down to business. I appreciate it. I mean, all the work y'all do. Good Lord. Anyway, I got to go in here and drop this stuff off. I just had to tell you the story of my son. That was just so cute. I just thought of that, and I wanted to share that. I know I've probably told it before, but I felt like telling it again. Anyway, I'm going to go drop off the stuff in my Goodwill bin, and, well, I'm going to go inside and shop for just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah, I'll be in there for a half hour. No, I got to get back home for real. But thank you for being here. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you again soon.